morning. We're here with Dennis Gehman.
Good morning, Patty.
Good morning, Dennis. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Great. Dennis is with Gehman Design and Remodeling in Harleysville, Pennsylvania. And you're the co-founder and president, correct?
Along with my wife, yeah.
Great, excellent. So you have 40 years experience in the business, and your company just celebrated its 25th year anniversary.
That's right.
Yeah. How did you all get started in this?
You know, from little on up, the first thing I can remember is I wanted to be a carpenter. And I think that's credit to my dad, who never worked as a professional in the trades, but always did things around the house and was patient and took the time to teach me things. And so I just had that interest. I enjoyed building things, creating things.
Great.
So I was fortunate out of high school, to begin working as a laborer on a framing crew, which puts up the main structures of houses. And so that was my start into it.
And how old were you at that time?
18, I guess,
Okay.
something like
Nice.
that. Yeah.
Your true love and passion?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I stuck with framing for a year and then found that I wanted to learn a few more things, more the finish side of things. And so I was fortunate to work for a number of different contractors, kind of learning the trade and the craft. Along the way, picked up plumbing and electrical and tile and, cabinet kind of stuff. And probably about 10 years of experience, I started thinking, wonder if I could start my own. And I talked with Glenda, my wife, about it. And when I was really thinking about it, we had just had our 4th child, so she wasn't real keen on this idea of my quitting my job.
Sure.
So I did make a job move at that point, went to work for another builder developer, and that got me more experience in the estimating side of things, reading plans, that kind of thing. But I should skip back a little bit. I always wanted to be a carpenter, but like 8th grade or 9th grade or something, they give you these aptitude tests in the schools.
How'd you do?
So I was heading to carpentry at the Votech school. The aptitude test said I wouldn't do good at that. I should go to architecture.
Oh.
So I did.
Okay.
But when I was graduating, I still couldn't see myself like sitting behind a desk. So the design remodeling, the design build part of our business, the architecture foundation that I got in Votech school, has been very useful and helpful.
So great. So you found that test to be pretty accurate.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's great.
And now I'm mostly behind a desk, or meeting with clients and talking with them about their projects. When I do get to use the tools, I get blisters and ouchies because I'm out of shape.
Speaking of, I bet. So when you do meet with a client to talk about, let's say I'm coming to you and I want to remodel my kitchen and bathroom and these, in the wintertime you're always thinking about, let's make some changes. What's the process like when you have a project?
The process is an initial conversation, and I'd say 90% of the time that starts with a phone call. You would call up, and then either myself or one of our other remodeling consultants would talk with you, and just get kind of a few basics and kind of time frame and some of those things. And I'd say most of the time it makes sense to set an appointment to meet with you at your home, because that's the space, and we want to see that existing area, and we want to hear your ideas, because most likely you didn't just start thinking about this over the weekend. It's kind of a process. You don't make these kinds of decisions on a whim. And so we want to hear your ideas. Certainly we will maybe have some ideas to throw out at that point. And then from there we set a second appointment and invite you to our showroom. Typically a week later or so, and in that interim, we're going to spend some time putting fairly detailed notes together about our conversation of what you would like to have kind of in your dream kitchen, and a document that we call our opinion of probable costs. It's a fancy word for budget range, because at this point we don't know exactly what cabinets are going in, which stone counter, what the tile is going to be like, how many recessed lights. And all that stuff plays into what the cost is going to be. So we give you a low range and a mid range, and the reality is the high range is sort of the sky's the limit.
Okay.
And then, have that conversation about budget that you're comfortable with, because we can design a project we know you'll love, but if you can't afford it, it really doesn't matter.
Sure.
And we've kind of wasted a lot of time. And then the next step in our process would be a project development agreement. And that's where we do ask for a design retainer for the time that we're going to spend closely measuring your existing space, putting that into the computer program, and then coming up with probably at least 3 initial conceptual designs, and kind of a back and forth process until we get it designed to where you say, yeah, that's it, all the while keeping in mind the budget. Once again.
Sure.
So,
which is important.
It is very important. It'd be a lot more fun if we didn't have to
right.
talk about money, because
Absolutely.
man, we could, do anything.
Right. Now, you've gotten many certifications and awards. And Contractor of the Year Award, you've won the NARI BIE Contractor of the Year Award many times. And you do many, like you said, the additions and commercial remodeling. What do you feel sets you apart from your competition, that makes you special?
Yeah. Several things. One, I think it starts with that we do the design in-house. And so it's sort of a one-stop shop, and I know that sounds like cliche, but we truly want to be that for the people that we're working with. We have a showroom so people can come and see and touch and feel, and when we're talking about a Super Susan base corner cabinet, and most people are like, I don't know what that is, and so we can walk over and we can show you what it is. It's a Lazy Susan on steroids.
Got it.
Most people have a bad impression of Lazy Susan corner cabinets because you put 3 5-pound bags of flour on the one side, and now it doesn't work right. Where the Super Susan takes care of all that, so it works well. So that helps. The other thing is that we use very few subcontractors. Kitchens and bathrooms, it is all our own employees. So, a bathroom especially, you can't fit many guys in there. So, same 2 guys that come in day one and tear everything apart, then put on their plumbing tools and put the new faucet rough-ins and drain locations, and then they do the electrical work and then the drywall work and the tile. And, so people like having fewer new strangers in and out of their house.
Sure.
They really get to build that relationship. The 25 years in business, we offer a 5-year warranty on all of our workmanship, a 10-year warranty on structural concerns. I'm very proud to say in the 25 years we've never been called on a structural issue. And many times the structural things are what's behind the scenes. It's not the pretty glitz, but you want to make sure that things are going to stay up. A very common project these days is a kitchen where we're tearing down walls. The open floor plan concept, and probably half the time that's a load-bearing wall. So we need to put a beam in, we need to relocate ductwork for the heating and air conditioning, drain pipes, electrical wires, and make that all look pretty and that it's going to stay up.
So talk a little bit about your role as the immediate past president of NARI BIE.
Well, I've been a member of BIE, which is an acronym for Building Industries Exchange, which has been here in Pottstown since 1952. The NARI part is National Association of the Remodeling Industry. BIE became a chapter of NARI in 2012. So we have 4 years as a NARI chapter, and that's when the name change came about. And so being involved in it, in the organization, I've made some great friends. Yes, I've been able to win some awards in their what started off as the Golden Hammer Awards, and then it was named Craftsmanship Awards. NARI's acronym or name is Contractor of the Year, or CODY for short. And so that's been a good process. Any organization that I'm involved with, I want to give back to. And part of that was saying yes to serving on the board, and so then I ended up being president the past 2 years. Tom Wing with TJW Home Services out of Phoenixville has stepped into the president's role now. I know he's going to do a good job. I still am on the board for another year, and then I do need to take a break per our bylaws, and I think there's good reason for that, to get some new people involved. But I am a representative from NARI BIE to the National NARI Board, which meets twice a year. So coming up in early April, we'll have our spring board meetings in Austin, Texas. I get to make that trip, and really the reason for joining with NARI was to be able to offer more to our members, more in the way of continuing education, legislation updates, staying on top of things, awareness of bills that are being proposed both in Harrisburg and in Washington, D.C. that affect our industry. And NARI has lobbyists available. We as BIE, as a local organization, couldn't afford to do that. The other is certification programs. NARI now, I believe, has 11 certification programs. Wow. I hold 3 of their certifications. The first one I got is CR, which is for Certified Remodeler. My explanation for that, it's much like you can be an accountant, but an accountant wants to be able to say they're a certified public accountant. So for a contractor becoming a certified remodeler, it's a 16-week-long course that you need to take, probably at least 100 pages of reading in each week, and then plans for a project that you need to draw up and submit. A matrix, they call it. It's kind of your work history and examples of projects that you've done, and then you sit for a 500 question test that you need to pass. And actually 6 weeks of that had to do with finances in a business. Most of us came into the contracting business, ownership of our own businesses, because we worked in the trades and we're good tradespeople. But many of us did not know the business side of things. And so NARI is a wonderful resource for that. We started our business in 1990. I was a charter member of the Bucksmont NARI chapter in 1992, and soon after we stepped in and ran a certification program. And that was a real boost for me as a new business owner to know how to operate things financially.
Great, great. Sounds like you're very involved and committed, and that's a
I am.
nice...
It's been good to me, and it's good to give back. And our industry is a fairly easy entry, which is good and bad. Pennsylvania now has contractor registration. It's a relatively easy process for someone to become a registered contractor. But NARI takes it a bit farther with the certification courses. And so we became involved in the certification long before Pennsylvania had contractor registration, because I felt it was important for us to stay on top and make sure that we knew what we were doing. Unfortunately, the home improvement industry every year is the top 1 or 2 of consumer complaints.
And what's the biggest complaint?
Well, it's people taking their money and not doing all the work, or not doing it correctly.
How about callbacks, follow-up? Is that a complaint? It doesn't seem like you would have that issue.
Well,
I've heard people say that.
It is a complaint. And I can understand why, because now I'm busy, I'm working on the next project, and I got to pull away from there to go back. Right. We have sufficient manpower with 20 employees that I can pull maybe one person from 2 different projects to send 2 guys to go address this if it needs 2 people, and there's still people working on those others. But it is a complaint. To me, callbacks or warranty work is the best marketing we can do.
It's a good marketing tool.
It is. We do that well, and that's part of why we offer a 5-year warranty. Reality is we hardly get any calls after the first year.
It's unheard of.
We want people to know that we're there, and there are times when I think of a client, and hey, it's been a while since I talked with them, and then I'll pick up the phone and give them a call, find out how things are going, and sometimes invite myself. Can I come and take a look? I want to make sure things are operating the way they should. That goes a long way, because those people are going into work the next day and saying, it's been 5 years since Gehman did our kitchen, and they came back yesterday and they tweaked a few things, and the best word of mouth.
They probably have you back for a meal. So we're running out of
We've had
time
that.
here. Yeah, I bet you have. Tell us a little bit, just give us your website if you would, and a phone number where people can get a hold of you, Dennis.
Sure, yep. Our website is essentially our name. It's GehmanRemodeling.com, and Gehman is spelled Gehman, GehmanRemodeling.com. Phone is 215-513-0300.
Thank you so much, Dennis. It was a pleasure.
Thank
and it was
you.
really nice for our viewers to learn a little bit more about your business.
You're welcome,
Thank you.
Patty. Thanks.